Alright, welcome to the UFC 319 fight preview, brought to you by Momentum Odds. And today we are going to be talking about UFC 319. Khamzat Chimaev is trying to take away Dricus du Plessis' belt in the middleweight division. These two fighters coming off of wins. I think this is going to be a clash that's going to be pretty entertaining. Let's just put it like that. Khamzat literally broke a man's jaw in his last fight, and you know he's never been more inspired in his life, I would imagine. So with that being said, I'm going to take him over Dricus, just off of the simple fact that I think that he's just a more scary, a more dominant fighter in opposing his will in the octagon. I mean, you talk about things that when you're in the sport of fighting, right, you know your opponents. You have to watch film on your opponents. Imagine watching film on your opponent that you're about to be going to war with, and you literally see him snap a man's jaw, with his forearm. So it's like, obviously Dricus has the mindset where he has to be as relentless and ruthless as possible in order to keep his belt. And I would commend that on him, but it's much easier to ride momentum, off of certain events than it is to kind of keep momentum. You get what I'm saying? And hold on to it. Especially with UFC and MMA, those huge statement wins are crucial like that, especially when you're a title contender. Khamzat is just one of those fighters, that's just, in my opinion, on a whole other level. And for that reason, I'm going to take him by submission in round 3. So that's my pick on that. Now, the co-main event is interesting because Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico. So Lerone Murphy, I believe, is number 4 in that division right now, going up against Aaron Pico, who is, I believe this is his first fight in the UFC. I mean, he came from Bellator. He was a really talented Bellator fighter, but I just don't know if I have faith in these other fighters from other organizations. It seems like whenever they decide to enter the octagon UFC, I think UFC fighters are a bit more inspired to show the world why they're the best. And for that reason, I'm going to go with Murphy. He's actually the dog on multiple sports books at this point also. But I mean, after years of hype, Pico's finally making his debut. But I do think that with these other organizations comes a lot of hype that can be overshot. Look at Kai Sakura. He came in and ended up fighting, I think, Pantoja, and that ended up going really bad. But at the end of the day, I think it could be hype. He was never favored like Pico is, but yeah, I don't think so. So Murphy for that. I'm gonna say Murphy by decision. Other interesting things that happened on this card. Michael Venom Page, who is one of my favorite strikers, is fighting against Jared Cannonier. Do I think this is going to be a clean, simple striking match that he's used to? No, I do not. He's coming up from welterweight. This is his first middleweight bout, I believe. And I don't know. I think middleweights might hit a little harder, and I think Jared Cannonier might be trying to muddy this one up and make it a grueling, fight in a phone booth type of fight. So for this one, this is going to be interesting. I think I'm going to go Cannonier. I'm going to go Cannonier by KO. And let's see what else. Brian Battle apparently missed weight by 4 pounds in his fight He was moved up from his weight class. Yikes. I mean, with that being said like that, it does not look like he's going to be coming back to the UFC. Dana White might just be saying, okay, look, man, you missed your weight at welterweight. We moved you up a weight, and then you missed it again. You're playing around. You're playing with everyone's time and money. Do you really want to be a fighter? I think he's going to start posing those questions. So, but he is a talented fighter, so we'll see if he ends up getting it together or not and what happens. But that's that. And so, yeah, with that being said, guys, I will be checking back in at the end of the fight to give a recap, and we'll see where we go from there.